So we're checking out a few knives for the first time on the channel, starting it off with Casey's new knife design, or Knives Fast. You guys can go and check out his YouTube channel. He's been designing knives, and this one is done by KANSEPT. And I gotta say, this is probably the best knife I've seen yet from him. KANSEPT did a really good job executing this, but the design overall knocked it out of the park. We have S90V steel with this beautiful drop point blade. You got the jimping up near the nose, and back here you got a nice hole deployment. Then we have titanium contoured scales with micro milling. The micro milling is very, very subtle, but it does have it. And since it's slightly contoured, the edges are very, very comfortable in the hand. It just, it works really, really well as far as ergonomics, comfortability, and the blade and handle complement each other very nicely. Now, the titanium mill pocket clip is probably also the best clip I've seen yet. This thing is super good. One, it's nice and deep, which that doesn't even matter to me. The smoothness in and out of the pocket is what I really like about this one. It has plenty of tension, but lots of springiness because of how thin it is back here. So it makes it it goes in and out of the pocket effortlessly. And it does look like it is reversible. He's got to, take that out and flip it. Pretty sure. The action is tremendous. I don't think you could ask for a better action. Not only is the reverse flick really good, and you can do it down low, you can do it up high. You have plenty of room, plenty of leverage. The grip in the hand is really nice, but you can also do the thumb flick comfortably, which with these types of holes, in many cases, it's not as good as the reverse flick, but in this case, this, hole just works very well for both deployments. And, obviously left-handed because it is somewhat of a bolster lock. You could just call it, a frame lock with inlays, but it does cover it, so you can easily use it left-handed. Access to the little lock bar, exactly how I like it. The smoothness on the drop, very, very smooth. Detent, nice and early, so it's very easy to get past. Yeah, all in all, man, this thing is super solid. The only little nitpicks I'm going to come up with, because, the sharp control and plunge grind's perfect, lock bar access is perfect, but I would say that one thing he could do, so this isn't really a complaint, this is more of something you could add. You could put a chamfer on this side so that when you disengage, one, you can come from the side, but you don't have this edge you're hitting. It'll be more chamfered, kind of like this is, where it's like crowned a little bit, so that you can kind of feel like you're pushing straight in, or if you're coming from the side, you don't have that corner. Not that it's very uncomfortable or anything, but it just would add it would just make it better. That's it. Not that it's bad in any way, shape, or form. There's things that, you could say I wouldn't complain about it, but this could be, just a little bit better if it was done this way. Other than that, T8s, obviously I don't like T6s, so TA hardware, I wish it was TA hardware all the way around. Other than that, I really have nothing. The stop pin is in a place that I normally don't prefer, but the way it's placed so far back, and I'm talking about the closing stop pin. Now, normally I complain about that, but in this case, I'm not going to, because one, it hits in the thicker part, but number two is if I chipped my edge, I still have plenty of life to sharpen off. If you have to cut in a new choil or if you sharpen all the way back to here, the knife's dead anyway. So, well done. Very, very well done. KANSEPT did a really good job. Now, as far as their S90V goes, I don't think I've ever tested any S90V from KANSEPT. I'm not even sure if I can think of an example of them using it. I'm sure I can, or somebody will remind me, but I'm not sure that I've tested it, so I don't know how well they're doing it. I'm not sure the HRC or anything like that. I'm going to hope for the best, but, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The geometry, is decent geometry. It's not too thin, not too thick, basically just perfect. Now, the next knife is from XTOUC. Now, you guys might remember this one right here that I have featured on the channel. Now, this one has some upgrades. And the one thing that I complained about this one with was the thumb studs are, a little slippery. Well, not slippery, but there's no traction on them. So they got new thumb studs, which are way better. These thumb studs just work. Now, I believe there's a 50% discount on this. I will have everything linked down in the description for you guys. So I'm pretty sure it's a 50% discount code. As far as their titanium models go, I think I have a 15% discount code on some of them, but everything will be linked down in the description. I will say XTOUC titanium frame locks, they do a really good job. And even with this budget banger right here in 14C 28N blade steel, drop point blade, micarta, deep carry clip, not reversible, button lock, right, is done extremely well. The detent is really well done. I have spine whacked both of them. This one, you know, I've spine whacked the heck out of it. I will say this one did get a little bit of detent lash, but it's almost not detent lash because it's more like you just feel like it kind of wanting to pull out. This one does not have that, but the detent, super solid. Really well done, regardless if you're doing the flipper tab or the thumb deployment. Now with the reverse flick, I do notice sometimes my detent is a little bit stout, but you can do it. But I'm happy about that. I want the detent, look at that. I like a detent nice and strong like that, especially with a button lock. And you know, it'll just break in hopefully better over time. The lockup is rock solid, no play any direction, which I'm always happy to see with button locks. Now, as far as nitpicks go, one thing I'll say is sharpening tool and plunge grind could be way better. They could definitely, you know, cut this out a little bit more, separate the end of the plunge grind from the edge. In this case, you have about 1, maybe 2 sharpenings before you hit the plunge grind, and most likely you'll just hit it right away anyways. The only other thing I could say is T6s. I wish they were T8s. Yeah. This is pretty cool. This is a great little budget knife, and especially at 50% off, that would make this right around like, I think like 25, 30 bucks, something like that. So like I said, everything will be linked down in the description. It is nice and comfortable in the hand. It's a great size. The action's great. You know, it's a simple knife, simple design, but sometimes simple just works. Next. Now this next one is something I've never seen from KUBEY. And you know, I always like to see knife companies, you know, stepping out of their comfort zone, but this thing is ultra slim. It's somewhat kind of like a pen knife, and it does have a thumb disc or whatever that works really well. Like it just works. It works good. It has a straight back Tonto in 14C 28N. It is not slicey. It is definitely a thicker, robust little knife, but you know, that might be kind of a good thing. Somewhat of like a letter opener, a package opener, and if you had to, you might be able to, you know, do a little tiny bit of prying. Not saying it's a pry bar in any way. I'm just saying this thing is thick. It is definitely stout. The button works really well. Detent, really good. It does have titanium scales, by the way. I should have already said that. Nice micro milling on the edges. Deep carry clip. I think the clip is titanium too. Yep, the clip is titanium and reversible. You can just flip it over to the other side. The inside does have lots of milling, and it is very lightweight. It's long, it's lightweight, it's slim. It's definitely something that you could probably put in our jacket pocket, or even if you had it in your regular pocket, it's going to be like carrying a pen. But this disc, man, this titanium disc hooked to the blade, you can reverse flick it, you can thumb flick it, it just works. So it has a regular stop pin, and as far as the thumb disc goes, you know, it does pop out just enough to where you can, you know, you just have a lot of leverage on it. You know, that's probably why it works so well for such a slim knife, because with a knife this slim, you don't expect to be able to kind of do that as well, but this one just works good. Like I said, 14C 28N blade steel. I think the one thing, if I was going to nitpick something right off the bat, I wish the blade was thinner. I wish it had a hollow grind, or I wish the blade stock was a bit thinner. 14C is a very tough steel. So, you know, granted, with the thickness and the 14C, it's going to be very tough, but I would love to see this thing slimmed out a little bit, maybe even just a slimmer grind or a hollow grind or something. I think that would make this thing super cool. Even if it was a flat grind up here and a hollow down here, so it was slicier down here, but then thicker up there, so you could possibly, you know, be a little bit more aggressive with it. But you know, all in all, you know, it's really cool. And, you know, I'm sure it won't have no problem cutting things. It's not going to be a slicer, but as far as opening things up and picking at things, you know, and stuff like that, it's pretty cool. The button works really, really well. Complete fall shut. Very, very smooth. Let's test the lockup. Lockup solid. Rock solid. Wow. Yeah, no play any direction. Good job, KUBEY. But yeah, very cool, you know. Oh yeah, titanium backspacer. I should have already showed that. What an idiot. But I kind of like it, you know. It's definitely not something I would everyday carry, but it is unique, it is different, and it is cool. And like I said, it's very well done. You know, the blade sits completely inside that handle. Like, all you have is handle. Anyways, there you guys go. Just a quick look at some new knives for the first time. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.